Assalamu alaikum. So I wanted to pop on here today and talk to you about getting better sleep during the month of Ramadan. So this is a big issue for us, right? So we have a couple of things going on. I'm going to talk a little bit about, just really quickly, about getting better sleep during Ramadan itself, and then how having a quarantine Ramadan may be affecting us and affecting our sleep. So sleep is a super important function of it's just as important, if not more important than eating and moving, right? It's one of my 5 pillars of wellness. I have a really strong focus on sleep. It's one of the things that I think that we really take for granted, and we don't look at it as a mechanism of developing better health or a mechanism in which you can compromise your health. If you don't know who I am, my name is Mubaraka Ibrahim, and I am a health and happiness coach. And I pop on this page almost on a daily basis now to talk to you about ways in which physical, mental, and spiritual well-being is intertwined. So I want to talk to you today about how we can get better sleep in Ramadan. We know if you've been fasting if this is not your first fast, then you are well aware that the hardest part of Ramadan really isn't going without food. The hardest part of Ramadan is really not getting enough sleep. Our sleep pattern is really broken up. So as opposed to getting up at Fajr time and taking about 30 minutes to make wudu, make salat, and then crawl back into bed, I know I'm not the only one. Our morning routine now takes a good 90 minutes, particularly if you have a family. We are up, we're making suhoor, we are trying to make our suhoor close enough to Fajr so that everybody can make wudu and then make salat. And then next thing you know, between the time of making suhoor and the time it takes to eat and then the time it takes to pray, you're up for 90 minutes maybe in the middle of the night. And then we are already not getting our full night's sleep because you are trying to do some extra ibadah after Isha, right? You're making Taraweeh, even though we're not in the masjid this year. Hopefully you have at least tried to make a few rak'ah. And so our normal 8 straight hours, hopefully you're getting that, is now broken up. So there's not much we can do about the barakas that you get for staying up late and making Taraweeh, right? There's not much you're going to do you're not going to be able to change the sunnah and say, I don't have to eat sahur and I can just eat it when I grow up. We can't change the structure of the spiritual requirements in Ramadan. But we can adjust our habits a little bit so at least is more restorative. Now, if you've ever had a problem with insomnia, you know that it's not just about getting the sleep, it's actually going to sleep and then feeling like you have been restored and you don't wake up so tired the next day. Well, there's a couple of things that you can do, and I'm going to give you some quick tips on how to improve your sleep quality, since we can't really do anything about the quantity of sleep that we have. So first I want to just remind you that sleep is super important for our brain health. It really is a daily brain detoxification. We know that when we go to sleep, the cerebral fluid in the brain actually increases, and it's almost like a power wash to power wash all of the waste proteins that have built up during the day. You know, when I read about the detoxification of the brain during sleep, what comes to mind is and I guess this is like an American thing. So in America, there is this car commercial, and it talks about this, I think it's transmission fluid. And so it has these gears that's like grinding each other. This is what happens in your car. And then as the gears are grinding, there's a buildup around it, right? So this is a normal thing that happens, that buildup while the car is moving. Well, our brain actually functions in a very similar way. Our body can't do everything while we're awake. It can't detoxify the brain and also allow you to be able to talk and to be able to remember things and to do a project and engage people and figure out how many lunges you have to do and what is the movements you're doing with your burpees, right? It's doing a lot of things at one time. And so it saves the detoxification of the brain for when you're sleeping. So that buildup that happens, the brain like power washes itself and gets it out. When it doesn't get it out, what happens is you have a lot of degenerative diseases that are associated with not getting enough rest, right? So dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all of those are correlated, not causation, correlated with quality of sleep. We also know when people don't get enough sleep, then they're more likely to be overweight. They're more likely to have cardiovascular disease and high blood pressure, even some cancers. So getting enough sleep is super important, and we have to do the best that we can, not just to get sleep, but make sure that sleep is quality sleep so that our brain can detoxify and restore our body. Our cells in our body also regenerate, restore, and repair themselves while we're sleeping. So it's important that we really take sleep serious. It is a pillar of health. Well, the first tip that I'm going to give you on how to get better sleep is don't eat late into the night. So I'm not going to give you a speech of did you normally that I may give you about, oh, don't eat sweets and processed food and blah, blah, blah. You already know all of that. But just eating in general. So when you eat late at night, when I say late at night, I mean you're going to go to bed in the next 2 hours, right? What happens is your body focuses its extra blood flow to your digestive system. But your brain kind of needs that extra blood flow. And so what happens is now your body is pulled between restoring your brain and digesting your food. And neither one of them gets done with much efficiency. And so you actually get less quality sleep if you are sleeping on a full stomach. So eat your iftar, have your snack or whatever you're going to have, but by the time you get to Taraweeh, then don't have anything within 2 hours of what you're going to bed. Have some herbal tea, have some water, have things that does not require a lot of digestion. Don't go and have thirds just because it's on the stove. Just put it in a container and eat it for suhoor in the morning. Yes, you can eat your iftar for suhoor. So, not eating late at night is really important. The second thing I'm going to tell you, which you've probably heard before, turn off the TV and turn off the computer and the phone. We are so tempted to make sure that we want to stay up to date with the latest lecture that our sheikh is given online because everything is being streamed via Zoom. But if you're getting ready to go to bed, you don't want the light shining in your face because you're telling your brain, hey, it's time to stay awake. And so your brain isn't preparing itself for sleep. For every 30 minutes that you take looking at a phone or some light source, it's going to take your brain about 2 hours to actually relax itself from that. So make Isha the cutoff of all of that. Catch up with it after Fajr the next day. It's on the internet. It's not going anywhere. They're saving all of their Zooms. So you can go back and you can watch it the next day. So to making sure that you are turning off all of your electronic within about 2 hours of you going to sleep. Remember, 2 hours of you going to sleep, turn off your electronics. 2 hours before you go to sleep, make sure that you stop eating. All of that is going to be helpful. The third thing is sleep in a dark room. So I'm reading this really interesting book called The Circadian Code. And part of it talks about how important it is for us not just to sleep, but how light actually determines that sleep. that human beings have a cell inside of their eyes that when it detects light, it actually sends signals to our brain that, hey, it's time to wake up. The same thing with darkness. When it doesn't detect that signal, when it doesn't detect light, it sends signals to our brain, hey, it's time to go to sleep. So sleep in a dark room. Don't sleep. I know it may be night. You say, oh, it's soothing if I have my candles going and no, turn it off, make it dark. The other thing that I want to say is want to suggest to you is have a time. Your body loves patterns. So even though our pattern is a little disrupted, you can create a new pattern for yourself during Ramadan. We'll have to adjust again after Ramadan, but we'll deal with that when that comes, right? So if you are going to decide that your bedtime is, 11 p.m. or 12 a.m., whatever that time is, try to go to bed the same time every night. And then about 30 minutes before you go to bed, your body will get into the habit of, hey, we're getting ready to go to sleep. All of those are ways in which you can get a better quality of sleep at night. So I hope that's helpful if you're having a problem going to sleep. Lastly, what I'm going to mention quite quickly, because tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on and I'm going to give you some specific techniques for stress management. But we're in a very stressful time right now. So don't be so hard on yourself to think, okay, well, I just have horrible sleep habits and I just can't go to sleep. Well, maybe you are suffering from anxiety and worry because of everything that's going on in the world. And you have to take that and you have to make sure that you're not using it as a source of emotional stress, right? So there's a time that you need to worry, but there's also a time to shut off the internet, not watch the news. If it's causing you that much problem that you can't even sleep at night, then you might need to just take a social media break, take a news break for a few days and practice some mindfulness. We know people that practice mindfulness are able to go to sleep faster and they get a better quality of sleep. So that may mean 5 minutes of breath work, 10 minutes of yoga. It doesn't have to be an hour or 2 hours. It really can be done in very small increments. All right. So I hope that's helpful. Join me tomorrow because tomorrow I'm going to be logging on around 2 p.m. And we're going to talk about stress and how to deal with the stress of having a quarantine Ramadan. All right. Talk to you then. Assalamu alaikum.